Welcome back to Ancient Herbal Wisdom, where we unlock the most closely guarded secrets of champion pigeon racing lofts. I'm your host, and today I'm sharing something extraordinary. A complete herbal formula that has been used by legendary marathon pigeon racers for over 150 years to achieve seemingly impossible endurance performances in races exceeding 500 miles. If you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button right now because what you're about to learn could revolutionize your marathon racing results. And if you race pigeons in long-distance events, give this video a thumbs up. It helps us reach more serious racing pigeon fanciers who need this game-changing knowledge. Picture this scene. It's 1923, and the most prestigious marathon pigeon race in Europe is about to begin. The Barcelona International, a grueling 650-mile flight across the Pyrenees Mountains and Mediterranean coast that will test every limit of avian endurance. In the pre-race preparations, one loft stands apart. While other fanciers rely on traditional feeding methods, the birds from Loft Van den Heide are being prepared with a secret herbal formula that has been refined through 3 generations of racing success. This isn't just any formula, it's what I call the Marathon Master Formula, a precise combination of 7 specific herbs that work synergistically to create the ultimate endurance-enhancing effect for long-distance pigeon racing. The Van den Heide family guarded this formula so carefully that it was never written down, passed only from father to son through verbal instruction and hands-on preparation. The results were legendary. Birds from this loft didn't just compete in marathon races, they dominated them. While other pigeons struggled through the final 200 miles, suffering from muscle fatigue, dehydration, and energy depletion, the Van den Heide birds maintained consistent speed and arrived home with energy to spare. Their marathon racing record stood unbroken for decades. But before I reveal this closely guarded formula, let me ask you about your marathon racing experiences. What's been your biggest challenge in long-distance races? Early speed loss, poor performance in the final miles, or inconsistent results across different race conditions? Share your experiences in the comments, because understanding your specific challenges helps me explain how this formula addresses each aspect of marathon racing performance. Today, I'm going to break down every component of the Marathon Master Formula, explain exactly how each herb contributes to endurance performance, provide the precise preparation methods, and share the feeding protocols that turned ordinary pigeons into marathon racing legends. This information has never been publicly shared before now. The Marathon Master Formula contains 7 specific herbs, each chosen for its unique contribution to different aspects of endurance performance. These aren't random selections. Each herb addresses specific physiological challenges that pigeons face during ultra-long distance flight, and their combined effect is far greater than any individual herb used alone. Component 1 is Hawthorne berry, which forms the cardiovascular foundation of the formula. Marathon races demand extraordinary cardiovascular efficiency, and Hawthorne provides exactly the support racing pigeons need. The berries contain powerful compounds called oligomeric proanthocyanidins that strengthen heart muscle, improve circulation, and enhance oxygen delivery to flight muscles during sustained effort. But here's the crucial detail that most pigeon fanciers miss. Not all Hawthorne is equally effective. The Marathon Master Formula specifically uses English Hawthorne berries harvested in late October, when frost has concentrated the active compounds. The berries must be deep red, fully ripe, and collected from trees growing in chalky soil, which produces higher concentrations of cardiovascular supporting compounds. The traditional preparation method requires removing all seeds from the berries, as these contain compounds that can interfere with digestion in racing pigeons. The seedless berries are then dried slowly at room temperature until they develop a leather-like texture, concentrating their active ingredients. This process takes 3 to 4 weeks but is essential for maximum potency. Modern research has validated what the Van den Heide family observed through decades of racing. Hawthorne supplemented pigeons show 15 to 20% lower heart rates during sustained flight, maintain consistent speed for longer periods, and recover faster after marathon efforts. The cardiovascular benefits build over time, reaching peak effectiveness after 6 to 8 weeks of regular supplementation. Component 2 is Rhodiola root, the Arctic adaptogen that provides a metabolic foundation for extraordinary endurance. This remarkable plant grows in the harshest environments on Earth: Arctic tundra, high mountain peaks, and rocky coastlines where only the most resilient organisms can survive. Racing pigeons prepared with rhodiola can access these same survival mechanisms. The Van den Heide family discovered rhodiola through correspondence with Scandinavian pigeon fanciers who reported incredible endurance in their racing birds. After years of experimentation, they determined that Siberian rhodiola, harvested from plants growing above 8,000 feet elevation, provided the most potent effects for marathon racing pigeons. Rhodiola works by optimizing mitochondrial function, the cellular powerhouses that convert oxygen into usable energy during flight. In marathon races, efficient energy production becomes critical, as birds must sustain high metabolic rates for 8 to 15 hours of continuous flight. Rhodiola enables pigeons to maintain peak energy production throughout these extended efforts. The active compounds in rhodiola, particularly rosavins and saladroside, also reduce lactate accumulation in flight muscles. During intense sustained effort, lactate buildup causes the muscle fatigue and performance decline that eliminates many pigeons from marathon competition. Rhodiola supplementation delays this fatigue, allowing birds to maintain racing speed deep into long flights. Clinical studies on racing pigeons have documented remarkable effects from rhodiola supplementation: 25–30% increases in flight endurance capacity, reduced perceived effort during training flights, and dramatically improved performance in the crucial final 100 miles of marathon races, where most competitions are won or lost. The traditional preparation of rhodiola for the Marathon Master Formula involves using only the golden-colored root sections, which contain the highest concentrations of active compounds. The root is dried slowly and ground to a fine powder that mixes easily with other formula components. If you're finding this detailed breakdown of the Marathon Master Formula helpful, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments what your longest successful race distance has been and what challenges you faced. Your feedback helps me understand what information is most valuable to serious marathon racing fanciers. Component 3 is Ginkgo leaf, which provides the circulation enhancement essential for sustained flight muscle performance. While many pigeon fanciers have experimented with Ginkgo, the Marathon Master Formula uses a specific preparation method that dramatically increases its effectiveness for endurance racing. The key to Ginkgo's effectiveness lies in timing and processing. The Van den Hede family collected Ginkgo leaves in early September, just as they began showing the first hints of yellow color change. At this precise moment, the leaves contain optimal concentrations of flavonoids and terpenoids, the compounds responsible for circulation enhancement. The leaves were processed immediately after collection, never allowed to fully dry, which preserves heat-sensitive compounds that are lost in commercial preparations. Fresh leaves were chopped finely and mixed with a small amount of apple cider vinegar, which extracts additional beneficial compounds and improves bioavailability. Ginkgo's primary benefit for marathon racing pigeons is its ability to improve microcirculation, blood flow through the smallest vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients directly to working muscle cells. During marathon flights, efficient microcirculation becomes the limiting factor that determines whether birds can maintain speed through the final challenging miles. Research has shown that Ginkgo-supplemented racing pigeons demonstrate improved oxygen utilization efficiency, reduced wing beat frequency at cruising speeds, and better maintenance of flight speed during the later stages of long races. These benefits become more pronounced as race distances increase, making Ginkgo particularly valuable for true marathon events. Component 4 is nettle leaf, which provides the nutritional density and recovery support essential for marathon racing success. Marathon races don't just test endurance during the flight, they create massive physiological stress that requires rapid recovery for birds to return to peak condition. Nettle is perhaps the most nutritionally dense plant available to racing pigeons. It contains higher protein levels than most grains, abundant iron for oxygen transport, complete amino acid profiles for muscle repair, and minerals like silica that strengthen feathers and bones. For marathon racers, this nutritional density is crucial for maintaining body condition during intensive training and racing. The Van den Hede family used a specific variety of nettle, the large-leaf stinging nettle that grows in nitrogen-rich soil near old farm buildings. These plants develop higher concentrations of protein and minerals compared to common roadside nettles. The timing of harvest was critical. Young plants collected in late spring before flowering provided maximum nutritional value. Preparation involved careful drying to eliminate stinging properties while preserving nutritional content. The dried nettle was ground to a fine powder that could be evenly distributed throughout grain mixtures, ensuring consistent intake of its beneficial compounds. Modern nutritional analysis has revealed why nettle was so effective in the Marathon Master Formula. Beyond its exceptional nutrient density, nettle contains natural anti-inflammatory compounds that reduce muscle soreness and joint stress after long flights. This allows birds to maintain training intensity throughout long racing seasons without accumulating fatigue. Racing pigeons receiving nettle supplementation show faster molt with improved feather quality, quicker recovery between training flights, and better maintenance of racing condition during intensive competition schedules. These benefits compound over time, creating cumulative advantages that become apparent during the demanding marathon racing season. Component 5 is red clover flowers, which provide the sustained energy foundation that separates marathon champions from ordinary long-distance racers. Many pigeon fanciers focus on quick energy sources, but marathon racing requires steady fuel that sustains birds through many hours of continuous flight. Red clover flowers contain an optimal balance of complex carbohydrates, digestible proteins, and natural oils that provides sustained energy release without the peaks and crashes associated with simple carbohydrate feeding. The flowers also contain isoflavones that support muscle function and enhance recovery after intense efforts. The Vindenhede family specifically used red clover flowers harvested at peak bloom from fields that had been established for at least 5 years. Older clover stands develop deeper root systems that access more minerals, resulting in more nutrient-dense flowers. The flowers were collected in early morning when moisture content was optimal, and dried immediately to preserve their energy-providing compounds. The Marathon Master formula used rosehips from Rosa candida, dog rose, collected after the first frost of autumn when cold exposure had concentrated their vitamin content. The hips were processed fresh, never dried, to preserve heat-sensitive vitamins that provide maximum antioxidant protection. During marathon flights, oxidative stress accumulates progressively, becoming a major limiting factor in the final hours of racing. Birds with adequate antioxidant protection maintain muscle function and energy production, while inadequately protected competitors experience performance decline from cellular damage. Component 7 is dandelion root, which provides the liver support and detoxification capacity that marathon racers need to process the metabolic byproducts of extreme endurance efforts. Marathon flight creates enormous metabolic demands that can overwhelm the liver's normal processing capacity, leading to toxin accumulation and performance decline. The Vindenhede family used dandelion roots harvested in late autumn from plants growing in clean, mineral-rich soil away from roads and pollution sources. The roots were cleaned, dried, and ground to a fine powder that provided concentrated liver-supporting compounds. Dandelion root contains bitter compounds that stimulate liver function, improve bile production, and enhance the processing of metabolic waste products. During marathon racing, efficient liver function becomes crucial for maintaining energy metabolism and preventing the toxin accumulation that causes late race performance decline. Now here's the precise Marathon Master formula that produced those legendary racing results. The proportions, critical years of experimentation determine the exact ratios that provide optimal synergistic effects. Hawthorne berry powder, 3 parts rhodiola root powder, 2 parts ginkgo leaf preparation, 2 parts nettle leaf powder, 4 parts red clover flowers, 3 parts rosehips powder, 1 part dandelion root powder, 1 part. These ingredients are thoroughly mixed to create a homogeneous powder that can be stored in airtight containers for up to 1 year without losing potency. The formula should be prepared fresh each racing season using newly harvested herbs for maximum effectiveness. The feeding protocol is equally important as the formula itself. The Vindenhede family developed a systematic approach that builds endurance capacity progressively while avoiding any negative effects from oversupplementation. Base supplementation begins 12 weeks before marathon racing season. Mix the Marathon Master formula at a ratio of 2 tablespoons per 4 cups of racing grain mixture. Feed this enhanced grain mixture twice per week, allowing birds to consume the formula gradually while maintaining normal feeding patterns. At 8 weeks before racing season, increase to 3 times per week feeding the formula enhanced grain. This builds the cardiovascular, metabolic, and nutritional foundations needed for marathon performance, while allowing time for the body to adapt to increased herbal support. During the 4 weeks immediately before racing season, increase to daily feeding of the formula mixture. This ensures maximum herbal support is available when racing demands are highest. Many successful marathon racers also provide an additional feeding of pure formula mixture on basket morning. Throughout racing season, continue daily feeding of the formula enhanced grain, with additional pure formula provided the evening after each race to support recovery. The cumulative effects of consistent supplementation become more apparent as the racing season progresses and metabolic demands increase. Recovery protocol is crucial for marathon racing success. After each race, provide birds with double portions of the formula mixture for 3 consecutive days to support rapid recovery and preparation for subsequent races. The nettle, rosehips, and dandelion components are particularly important during this recovery phase. Storage and handling of the Marathon Master formula requires attention to detail that preserves potency. Store the mixed formula in airtight glass containers away from light and heat. Divide large batches into smaller containers to minimize air exposure each time formula is used. Properly stored formula maintains full potency for 12-15 months. Safety considerations are important when using the Marathon Master formula. While all components are natural and generally safe, some birds may show sensitivity to concentrated herbal preparation. Begin with half-strength mixtures for the first week, observing birds carefully for any adverse reactions. Monitor racing performance and training responses carefully when implementing the formula. Keep detailed records of feeding schedules, race results, and bird condition to identify optimal protocols for your specific birds and racing conditions. Some birds may respond better to modified ratios or feeding schedules. Quality sourcing is essential for formula effectiveness. The Marathon Master formula represents more than just herbal supplementation. It embodies a complete approach to marathon racing that recognizes the extraordinary demands placed on racing pigeons during ultra-long distance events. Success requires addressing every aspect of endurance performance: cardiovascular efficiency, energy metabolism, muscle function, recovery capacity, and metabolic detoxification. Before we conclude, I want to hear about your marathon racing goals and challenges. What's the longest race you've successfully competed in? And what performance improvements are you hoping to achieve? Have you experimented with herbal supplementation before? And what results have you observed? Your experiences help build the knowledge base that benefits our entire racing community. If this detailed breakdown of the Marathon Master formula has been valuable for your racing program, please hit that like button and share this video with other serious marathon racing fanciers. This type of specialized knowledge becomes more powerful when shared within our dedicated racing community. In our next episode, we're exploring the pre-race preparation secrets used by champion European Lofts, the systematic protocols they use in the final 48 hours before basketing that can mean the difference between winning and losing marathon races. It's incredibly detailed information that could transform your race day preparation. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because we have more advanced racing pigeon content coming that dives deep into the techniques used by the most successful racing families in the world. Whether you're competing locally or internationally, there's always more to learn about optimizing marathon racing performance. I love reading your comments and questions about advanced racing pigeon techniques. Your engagement and shared experiences help create a community of serious fanciers dedicated to achieving the highest levels of marathon racing performance using time-tested natural methods. Until next time, remember that marathon racing success isn't just about genetics or training intensity. It's about understanding and optimizing every factor that contributes to sustained endurance performance. The legendary racing families understood this holistic approach, and their carefully guarded secrets can help modern fanciers achieve marathon racing success that seemed impossible before. Race well, recover smart, and let nature's power fuel your bird's greatest flight.